Welcome everyone to the Talk to Me United podcast. My name is Andy and the opposite side of the screen is Ali. Football bloody hell. Manchester United 4, Bournemouth 4. What a thriller for Monday Night Football. You know how it is. We will break down all the goals, look at the stats of the quote unquote tactical change by Ruben. Then we also will discuss about Ruben and that tactical change, the system. And there was news this afternoon since we're filming on Tuesday, the day after the game. There's like some news that he may not be the manager by the end of the season. So we'll break all that down. And then also finally looking ahead at potentially free Kobe against Villa. So Ali, how are you feeling after this roller coaster of a game?
Man, that was emotional, man. I think most people had. I remember you texting me, like we were so worried about that record. That's one of like the most impressive records in English football. But that game was just ups and downs. It showed our strength. It showed our weaknesses. Yes, it was probably one of our best performances the first half. But I just kept thinking that we will always concede chances to the opposition, that we just have a very easy gettable back line. No matter if you got 4 at the back or 5 at the back or 3 at the back, it's just you can just get at it. A couple of through balls that we're gonna go through for Bournemouth goals. It's too easy, man. Like through balls that's like, man, that's like FIFA stuff, bro. Like that's like, you press
Yeah.
triangle and like you're through. Like that's not you. That shouldn't be allowed in real life. And the only one that can do that is Kevin De Bruyne, and it'll come at an angle. Like that's the only excuse for that. But positives were, yeah, the attacking displays. The attacking displays were there. Intensity was there. Kind of felt like what we were before we had this little slump at Old Trafford. Energy was back. There was something different about the guy that we conceded that equalizer. I had a feeling that would happen. I didn't think we were gonna take the lead. I didn't think it was gonna be 4-3. Once we conceded those 2 goals straight after halftime, I didn't think we'd like to take that lead. So credit to the players for that, and even Kobe. Kobe had a mixed performance too. I think I will probably get into like the formation and everything, but I think the Prem post today, it was like United's average formation was 4-2-4, and that changed in game, and everyone's making a big deal about this 4-3-3 getting changed, and Amarim doing it on his own terms, which I think will be good considering the AFCON players are leaving. But yeah, the overall game was just like, for the neutral, that's incredible. That's an incredible game,
8 goals.
Yeah, 8 goals, and yeah, a couple of free kicks, which the goalkeepers are to blame for, in my opinion, and I'll break that down too. But also, yes, Lamont was guilty for that goal, but he saved us from losing that game. He definitely at the end, that's a goal. That's a goal for Bournemouth at the end, and I know he was didn't have the best game, but he also saved us at the end. And Kobe's brother, listen, he is
Save that for later.
okay.
Save,
All right,
save the free
like
Kobe stuff for later
this guy, bro. Like,
because that's just
yeah. All right. What were your thoughts on the game? Tell me.
all
Well, how are
right.
you
So
feeling?
so I think I'm gonna go. I made the comment last week. I think I'm gonna stand by it. That this just feels like Jose's first season with us, where it's going to be like we're not going to lose a lot of games, but we're not going to win or take the chances. Because again, that season we had 18 wins, 15 draws, and 5 losses. And and we ended up with 69 points. And like I think the goal difference was like around zero. Like it was like 50-50 like there with goals and conceded. But I just feel like this is what we're going to expect. But I feel like because the Prem is so competitive and stuff, and then going back to one of your points earlier with regards to Champions League, it might be fifth place, it might be fourth. Like guys, we're only 2 points back. And we're until on points for fifth is the goal differential against Palace, right? But it's like let's take it for what it is. The season ended today. From what everybody we heard from Lori, etc., is that the goal of the season is European place. So right now we'd be looking at Europa League, essentially, barring any, lower teams winning FA Cup and stuff. Right now it's Europa League that we're there. So the sky's not falling and stuff. So putting that aside, it's just like this is how it is. This is where he is. But like, yes, the first half of the match was like the best half I've seen since Arsenal. To be honest with you, when it was like 0-0. Yeah, because we were pressing, we were creating
Yeah.
chances. You know, the top three were being fluid, interchanging. You know, Brian was on, started on the right, but ended up on the left for like a couple of times where he did crosses and taking shots off the ball. You know, we were being progressive, being fluid in that 4-4-2. Either the setup of when Bournemouth is taking the ball out and being in that 4-4-2 press and coming out towards it and then changing into, 4-4-2 attacking, 4-3-3, whatever fluidity you want to talk about, whatever formation. I think everybody's fixated about formation, yada, yada, yada. But I think that seeing fluidity and stuff is just great. And in the second half, you know, I think that the first goal by Ever what is his name? Ever
Even
Larson? Evan Larson, something like that?
even Nelson, even Nelson.
Even Larson. I feel like that was a foul in the low to the start of it, but VAR was sleeping throughout this whole freaking game.
Oh my god,
VAR
ridiculous.
was so bad because there's so many chances we had with handballs. Like at least two of them were legit. But putting that aside, this is the game. Fine. Other than that, I felt like Bournemouth hit us. Fine, credit to them. But let's get us credit back of like how we came back into the game and took the lead 4-3. I thought we were going to find a way to either score one more in it or hold it off. Like do enough that we can hold it off and take it. Because I thought that it was like the minute. We had plenty of time to kill it. But then, yes, we allowed Bournemouth to get back in to score those goals. And then Lamens, we will talk about, the last minute chance because, again, free Kobe. And then Kobe does, lets his man go through there. But just looking at the positives of like the fluidity and stuff. But I think this is part of Ruben's system of we've get enough with the attacking because we are tied as the second most goals scored in the Premier League with 30. Arsenal has 30. We're only behind um Man City. Yeah, but we given up 26 goals, and that's the difference why we're not competing for the league or like making it competitive versus to where we are right now in like that middle pack area. So just taking everything into account and where we are, I just feel like also this game reflects of the summer and the inaction of not getting a proper midfielder to come in
Yeah.
and then maybe not doing something for the center back. I didn't think center backs was that important, but it does hurt when both Maguire and Delit are out as your center back. And then you have two 20-year-olds as your two center backs, and then an old guy in layman terms, like a dinosaur at this club who should be out of this club by now. But he's having a proper season, but let's be fair. And then I guess we will talk about it later, but we need to have a conversation about Martinez. We need to have a conversation about that because I think that also relies upon what it is in the depth, the quality of the team, etc., in terms of recruiting. Because there's a lot of talks about the manager being sacked or not coming back, but I feel like this is I've seen enough that I believe Ruben can succeed if he gets his players. I've seen enough this season in terms of the mentality change, in terms of influencing the system and the recruitment from Ineos. Like it's still some issues and gaps, but I feel like we're at the right place. I trust them enough to give them more than this season to see this out. And then with the whole new rules of financial fair play and how it's done, it's like United can spend money because of how it is right now. They it's wishy-washy of how to spend it. But now that the rules come in, it's like you could spend up to 85% of your revenues that you bring in on top of whatever you sell. So we don't have to do the book math of take the fee that you paid for plus the wages and divide it out 5 years under PSR. There's no excuse for them not to spend money in the summer and to do a real good revamp. None of this whole nonsense about 2 to 3 windows is like, I don't think the fan base has patience for that. And I don't think we're that far off from competing in the league to make it competitive.
Yeah, I think we sat here every week and we're saying midfielder, midfielder, midfielder. But I think, and even though it's December, I think we gotta just like carry on with what we have, and we have a completely brand new attack. right? That's
Mhm.
three shiny, brand new toys and a reliable goalkeeper. Like these things take time, and I think if you just use Liverpool as an example, they just threw a load of money at it, all these incredible players, and they're not really syncing up just yet. So yeah, these things take time. It's such a glaring problem, the midfield, but if you look at it in retrospect, the attack was even more problematic last season. Like we just weren't scoring goals. Then it was decent. Like Aiden Heaven had a decent start when he came in. Martinez was injured. Delict wasn't fit. Maguire was okay. So then it's like, oh, we don't want to do anything with that, and then you just left for the midfield. So that's But anyway, the defense, yeah, like both Delict and Maguire are out, and you need one of them playing. You need one of them orchestrating. And oh, dude, I just think Heaven's gonna be a good player on the left side as long as he's got a little bit of freedom to come inside. He's good. He's decent. He cannot. He looks lost in the middle, right? And in this, he wasn't really playing like Yoro was playing right. I wasn't watching Heaven so much. This game, but the last couple of games, my guy, he's my guy. He's been
I know
letting me
he's your
down a bit.
guy.
Yeah,
He's your guy,
because
man. And
I
he's
was
getting
I
some heat on the internet.
yeah, but like I think, trust me, you put him in a back three, left sided center back. He's a baller. Like he can come out. He's fearless. Yeah, it's just I think when you defend midfield and attack, major surgery on the attack. We every week we're gonna talk about the midfield, but it's like I kind of just like we almost gotta like just deal with what we have. And do you adapt the system to put less emphasis on how we're just getting cut through in the midfield? Like now, if we go to a 4-3-3, it might do that. So yeah, it's just a lot of different
But
surgery.
then we run into the same issue of Ten Hag because it's like we have not made any midfield additions since Ten Hag. It's been subtractions. So it's like,
We
who are you
got
going to play
you got Cass, Bruno, Mount, and you got Kobe.
in your
All right.
Ugarte? And that's it.
Well, he's not playing. He's awful.
Yeah,
Why
because
we sell him?
I saw one tweet was like, if we're going to go to for Villa because what's his name is suspended, and if you're going to do
Oh,
4-3-3,
yeah.
they want the Mount Menu double pivot and then having Bruno on top. And then our tacticals man, Carl, replies back and said, I forgot what he said, but he's like, no. Basically the point was like, no, like we will get caught up even more in the midfield with that double pivot.
Yeah. Like so I saw Villa play West Ham. Um, And Villa are good, man. Villa are such a well-run team. They run. Every single player runs like crazy. And Yuri Tielemans, we saw a couple of through balls against Bournemouth. Let me tell you, Yuri Tielemans is one of the best, most technically gifted midfielders. He doesn't have a lot of pace, both footed. He will cut us open. He will keep cutting us open. The only thing that like I think is Villa's weakness is the counter attack. And if we got Sesko and Cunha, like we have a chance. But we need to populate our midfield. And Rogers, oh my god, that guy's a problem. He's balling out right now. He was incredible. And I don't think he gets that level of hype that he probably should do.
Because Gibbs
But
White
yeah,
takes it over for him because Gibbs White is like the young, Cam that's taking up all the hype.
like I do like Gibbs White, but after seeing Rogers live, like he will cross it in with his left foot, and he gets great accuracy. He's got a great switch of play. He's got a great shot, and he runs. So I think the difference between him and Bellingham in the England team is that Bellingham probably has an engine, but Rogers has a work rate. Like he will just go up and down, up and down, up and down. He's more defensively sound, whereas Bellingham, he kind of has like that. He can just carry on for 90 minutes, but he's not constantly running up and down like Rodgers. But yeah, that game against Villa is going to be tough, especially without Casemiro. But yeah, I just think we need to populate our midfield.
But the thing about Tillmans is that I wanted Tillmans when he came out, when he was like that free agent last year of his deal. But there was so much issues about his like mentality and like his, mentality background. he had a bad attitude. That's why I think a lot of the big teams didn't want him,
I
and then
didn't know
now
that.
he's just
Huh.
cutting it up. And you know who's also good that also wanted when he was at Everton? Nana.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I think
He
that's
would have solved. He
a
would have
lot of
solved so
issues.
many problems. Yeah, he keeps getting subbed off every game, which I don't know why, but he's mobile. He's good in the air. He's good at passing.
And
I wanted him
and
to.
then and then also, you know, another reason too, and you know, I know you would hate this. Kamara. Kamara is a very beast in Football Manager and in sometimes in FIFA. That just thinking about that game, they have like Villa has three good 6 and 8s right there.
Yeah,
And that I
yeah,
think that's what also helps is strong with their team. And then
yeah.
McGinn just, you know, still alive and kicking 30 something, running like he's
Dude,
like
his work rate is incredible. Honestly, I don't think every single player on that Villa team knows what they're doing. They're extremely well run. Um, and just on United, I do think that first half was great, but once Bournemouth changed their shape, what happened? They stifled us, right?
stifled.
We had the chances to score, and Bumo like a couple of chances, and we couldn't get that extra goal. And yeah, I think this is where I do question the manager. If the opposition is changing shape, your players need to be taught what to do in that scenario, and like that's your job as a manager to educate that. And I don't think he is.
This is also quite funny because now that, you know, there was reports today of like Manchester looking into doing an investigation of who leaked this formation change to Samuel Lockers, formerly of the Men, now with the Sun of the formation change. And he posted a story very early in the day, like lunchtime UK time, that Bournemouth had plenty of time allegedly to work on the changes. So United are mad of like who's leaking it. Are we
Right.
having another, you know, Garnacho brother leaking or
Yeah,
Rashford's
I get
crew?
it.
But but that's the, you know, the silly point of it of like, but I do agree with you, and I think like this is a problem with the managers post like I would say Jose, right? I feel like United hasn't had a proper manager, you know, after Ferguson since Van Gaal and Jose. And we've come into our PE manager, and now so with Ali, you know, just vibes, no
Yeah.
tactics, vibes. And then we went for the two hottest quote unquote young coaches in Europe with Ten Hag and Ruben. And we see, you know, their in-game management because both have been poor. I'm gonna if there's anything that I would say, like I was a diehard Ten Hag fan,
Yeah.
I would say his in-game management was horrible. And you see that too here with Ruben. And it's like, I don't know what to do. I saw somebody making a tweet of that Ruben's coaches don't have like the tier one UEFA licenses for coaching. They're like for a club like United, that's criminal. And maybe that's something they need to look into in the summer of bringing like a proper assistant manager to help Ruben out with the tactical or with like some of the stuff because to be a big club and not to have those coaching license or like that sense of credibility or experience is kind of daunting and it's kind of showing of the performances.
Yeah, because a lot of like the in-game management, you need to know like the prem. You need to know the intensity. You need to know when the crowd is getting on side. You need to know when to kill the game. These guys are like stats. They're like, oh, well, this is what the stats are saying, and it's different once you step onto that pitch with that atmosphere. I think what Heinze is, at Arsenal. That was a great addition to them, and Pep's got, obviously Jurgen's guy. So it's just like
Yeah.
these are like experienced people who know the prem. Yeah, so I it's yeah, his backroom stuff. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of just always data driven you know analysis and all these things, because the eye test is something different. And yeah, them not having their licenses, yeah, look, they managed to win,
They have they
in
have they have
Portugal.
UEFA like
Yeah, well, like, they still, managed to win, league titles in
right,
Portugal. Yeah, it's.
right.
I think real life is obviously, so much more valuable in experience. But yeah, it would be nice for Ruben to have someone that's, experience, but like he was like, these are my guys. He didn't want to come in the first
Yeah,
place, you know. But he's Ruben's got no. These guys got no excuses. They've been there
over a
for a
year.
year.
Yeah.
You know, that first year, you had to be noticing how in-game management is so important, substitutions and everything. And yeah, they're still not getting it just yet. Squad depth is an issue as well. Like you look at the bench, and you're just like, I mean, what can I do? You know,
Mhm.
I mean, when we went 4-3 up, you got Kobe and Bruno in midfield. Of course, we're gonna concede chances, right? There's nothing there to. There's no one in there to put a foot in, and obviously, Ubalte's not playing so well. Yeah, it's a bit of a mess, man.
I would just say this on the data stuff. You'd be a very good Yankee fan
Why do you say that?
because Aaron Boone is the manager of the Yankees, and he's data driven, right? So there's a lot of like talk and a lot of stuff like with like the old school fans that he he takes so much notes from the binder and the data that he just have that manage it instead of like going with his gut or like in-game management of like the crowd or when to take out a pitcher. But because the stats says this guy is good against this batter or this pitcher, put him in. That's what we're going to do. And that's where we see like the quote unquote, arrogance or the inability to adapt and change that plagues these like young managers.
Well, yeah, the greatest statistical analysis was when Leicester acquired Conte. You know, that was the biggest coup, and yeah, they won a league title, man. You know, I feel like everyone's trying to do that now, but the eye test and the players, mentality and all these other things are so important as well.
So I think those are our thoughts. Now we're gonna go break down the goals, the mishaps, the mentality issues of this freaking club and these players that need to be sold. So again, all of our clips are provided by Y Scout and Huddle.
Is Ahmad's goal. And as you can see, Ahmad and Bumo, when Ahmad drifts inside and Bumo goes out wide, gets it to Cash and Cash switches it. And you can see Yoro here, right? He is the right back in the system. And then you got this midfield three of Cash, Bruno, and Mount. I really like that. And just keep it on Ahmad out there in the box. Dallo gets the ball in. And we've got 4 attackers in the box. And Bumo back stick. Love that. And then Ahmad's right there, hands up. This is good. This is what you want. You want numbers in the box, and we score 1-0. 12 minutes in, we were really using that intensity in the press, progressing the ball. If you notice, Mount was made a good movement forward as well. Completely different to how we started the previous 2 home games. What are your thoughts on that?
I thought Halal Ball doing that trick and cooking up the side would be well missed going forward for the next month or so. So, RIP to Halal Ball right there. Actually, all the members of Halal Ball was
Yeah, the entire squad, bro.
oh boy. No, I think I enjoy this play coming up. I like how Delo, invoke a little bit of Cristiano Ronaldo in terms of doing his footwork to get the ball out and then, crisscross and then gets to space and then, you know, love that how we have 4 people in the box. And actually when we show the stats in the passing map and like the heat map, it just shows like that was what was consistent throughout the most of the game of like when we were attacking, having 4 ahead in the 4 ahead in the attacking. And like this is again like the fluidity of how everyone's interchanging. And kind of like the what is it? Pros of having no traditional striker in a role like this because you have the fluidity of Mount, Cunha, Ahmad, Bruno, and Bumo to just like go in and out to be on the top
Yeah, absolutely. And I really like this movement that Mount does. You
to
just
draw the plays
notice.
out.
Yeah, he draws the guy out. It's just like pass and move, you know. This is Bournemouth's equalizer, and here you can see that we're in a flat 4-4-2, and the ball gets kicked from the goal kick. Dallo inside, and the ball gets played out to Luke Shaw here, and he takes a really bad touch. But that ball to Dallo is on. He just takes a really bad touch. And this is him playing as a left back now. And if you take a bad touch as a left-sided centre back, you might have players around you to help you. But when you're out there on your left back on your own, you got 3 Bournemouth players surrounding you. Your touch has to be better. And yeah, like that pass to Dallow's on, got those 3 Bournemouth players surrounding you. And this is what Bournemouth do. You know, they suffocate you, wait for a mistake, and the ball gets played to Semenyo. Please, please, and someone at United, please, someone buy Semenyo. If you want to be a serious club, you need to buy ballers. He is a baller. We'll put him left wing back, right wing back. Say no more. Thoughts?
So you're praying on your knees and stuff for Semenyo, but the word out of the street as of earlier this afternoon on Tuesday, December 16th, is that Liverpool and Man City have agreed personal terms with Semenyo, but United's the only team that's actually reached out to Bournemouth to get a deal done. Like they're the only ones who reached out to the team to figure out, what the terms, when it's the release clause, etc. So they're the only ones who've reached out so far to the
Yeah, I
team
think
to get a deal done.
personal terms are more important than
Really, because I feel like everyone agrees to personal terms with teams these days. It's just like whoever can get the deal done.
Yeah, but like if you're Semenyo, you'd want to join City, right?
But
I mean,
will he play in City?
yeah, I know. Actually, you
It's
know
like
what?
I
You're
feel
right.
like
Like yeah.
City's a place to die.
The thing is, I see what you're saying because they got Marmoush, we got like Shirky, Foden, Bernardo Silva, but like he can still Doku. I think it's
Right.
more Doku and Marmoush on that, both like playing on that left side. Obviously, he's playing on his right side. Their right side isn't as strong. Like you would want Shirky on that low block because he's an absolute wizard. But Semenyo is, he's athletic, he's strong, he's intelligent. He's both footed. I think he'd do bits in that City side. I think the most obvious team would have been Tottenham. Like he's gonna get Champions League football and minutes there, but no one wants to go to Spurs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I,
So
I would I would love to have him
yeah,
in
because
at United. He's
the
quality. He's Cunha and Bumo level. Like that's guaranteed quality you're adding to the squad.
and you have another dynamic. You have a dynamic right wing back in Ahmad. We lacked that on the left side. That's why kind of it's like lopsided attacking. And at one point about Ruben's system, he loves his wing backs. In order
But
for
he
Ruben's system to be successful, he wants two progressive, no nonsense midfielders, wing backs, and you get your center backs. Like that is Ruben's system of creating the chances to go forward to give to your wingers. Sorry, your wingers, your two number 10s and your striker chances to score. So I think that, I've talked about it in the past of like wingers are not a this year problem, it's a next year problem, especially to get more football. But I think, if he's out there, you should just give him the money.
Yeah, no, I think so too. I think Ruben likes to play with one defensive wingback and one attacking wingback, but against a low block, which has been our issue, you need all the attack-minded players on the
Right.
pitch, right? And I would start Semenyo over Ahmad, like he's that good, you know.
Really, I would drop the low and Dorgu and put him on the left and have
No,
Ahmad on the right.
I against a low block, yes, but against a top team, I would if I'm thinking like
He is
Ruben, like
defensive.
if I need a defensive wing back on one side, I'm dropping Ahmad for Semenyo just because Semenyo offers you a long throw. We're apparently a
Right.
long throw team. I think he's just maybe a little bit more better with the press and better defensively, and he's
Well,
just he's
that's what I
just
was gonna make.
he's a bigger presence as well.
That's the point I was gonna make is that he is better defensively. That's why I feel like
Slightly. Ahmad's pretty decent.
he's pretty decent, but no, but I'm talking about like it's not like he's like it's a huge drop off in defending. Like he can defend.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but in terms, so putting aside a little bit for Semenyo, pretty much, yeah, this is the back four that they've talked about, 4-4-2 coming out. See, this is the individual mistakes that we talk about. Like this could have been a better pass to get out. And then again, everybody wants Shaw to be a left back. That's where his bread and butter is there. Ruben is playing him out of system. Look, he's in a left back situation and he scuffs it. And he scuffs it again later, but we'll talk about that later. And then again, as now you're playing through the clip, you see Bruno trying to go. I saw Mount. I thought Mount was hilarious. It's like, yes, Mount can't tackle him because if he tackles him, that's a straight cut penalty. He was yelling at what's it called? Heaven to come
Heaven to
out.
come across, yeah.
Yeah, to come across. And I feel like it, I'm not going to slander Heaven because I think this is a rock and a hard place because I don't think he knows that Euro is right there with him, and that's a part again being 20 playing center back. So, so I feel like that is just
He doesn't check his shoulder.
learning. Yeah, he does not check. He checks late, but I don't think he checks that he sees Euro to come out. So I feel like this is where it's like if Delit was there, this would probably be a better contested match, and then also to prove the point of live and die by the sword with Bruno for every attacking. Because if we had a proper number 8 or somebody who could track back faster, who had the legs, this could have been like
I don't think so. Yeah.
Could have been contested, or Casemiro coming over if he had the legs.
Yeah, I think no one's making like
Right.
no one's taking account for Luke Shaw's poor touch, right?
Right.
I think if you're it's Heaven, right? Yeah.
And I think this goes back to your point of like when you're talking about the defensive stuff of like if it's a 3, 4, 5, we're seeing goals like this is because I think everyone has better expectations, or the expectation is that that will not be a bad pass and you don't have numbers in the back. And you would see that later on in the last goal that Bournemouth scores.
Yeah, so it's 2-1. We're 23 seconds in. What I will say about Casemiro's goal, at halftime is, he's got three goals, 4 goals,
3 goals.
More than Ritz. Yeah, how many did Wirtz have? I can't remember. Yeah. And remember, Casemiro, the football's left him. So this is right after halftime. Shaw goes long, and Bournemouth with the second ball, and Bruno. This is his problem. This is the issue. But this is what I mean by it's so easy for teams to just press triangle and put these balls through. And that's a great finish. That is, good finish. But that's so poor. That's 38 seconds on the clock. Just like lack of concentration, intensity. But we're so open in that position. That, we keep going on about it. It's the midfield. But yeah, that's just like how we're gonna play for the rest of the season, it feels like. Unless we make an adaptation where you want Mount further in. Casemiro's positioning could have been a little bit better, but Bournemouth cut us through like butter. Yeah. What are your thoughts?
On a different angle that they were playing after the goal, Euro plays him onside. So yes, getting cut up through the middle line, Evan should have done better, but Euro plays him on. I think that again is more positional. And I wouldn't call it individual error. I just think it's like the system of being like a quote unquote high line. And this is where the high line comes out and bites us in the ass. Because I think if your look where positioning is that as the ball is being played, Heaven is offside. Heaven is not even playing him onside. He's off. It's Euro that plays him on. And that's what gets us.
Yeah, that's a good point because the only way you beat that is by playing him onside. So yeah, that's a really good point. And these are two, inexperienced centre backs, really, really young, high potential centre backs. And yeah, I don't want to slate them or anything, but you put Delict in the middle there, that's a better defensive line, but weren't really playing three at the back so much, maybe in some build up play, but yeah. What I will say is I do want to praise Ruben for playing a young player. I do praise him for playing Heaven because I do want to see some youth come through. I know he's not one of ours, but it's good to see some of the younger players get minutes. Like Euro's kind of more established, but yeah, I do want to see the younger players get chances. And this is the thing with younger players. Like Heaven's been making mistakes, Euro's been making mistakes. That's how you get better. That's how you gain experience. And then by the time they're 25, it's a completely different ballgame. Yeah. In shot 5 minutes later, They get a free kick, and Tavernier hits this over the fake wall. And for me, I'm old school with this. If that's the keeper's side, that's your side to save the shot. If it goes over the other side, it's a worldie. It's like that's the wall's fault. That's world class, but that's your side. And Le Mans takes a step to his side and he lets it in. And yeah, I always think if it's the keeper's side, you have to save that. It's just simple. And it's the exact same thing happens with this Bruno one, except it's 10 times better.
So this was just a bad goal because Casemiro does the uh
Oh
tactical
yeah,
the
foul.
tactical tap foul, and he gets a yellow card for it. Now we missed him for Villa.
Yeah.
And then Bruno, there's replays of it, Bruno telling Lamens that he's gonna come on that side. And that's why Bruno let the ball pass through and didn't put an attempt on it. Because he was telling Lamens that it's coming that side, go low. And that's why he left it clear and Lamens didn't pick it up. So look, he's also a young keeper. We have to remember that
Yeah.
I think these two goals just show it's not the system; it's individual errors. Because you know, Shaw doing bad passing, and then with the position of the players and not having the legs, and now this was just like a you know tactical and like you saying old school mentality of like if it's your side, you should block it, and yeah, there's no reason for him to take a step to
Yeah.
the opposite side and then go to
It's
the left.
yeah, it's a ego thing for goalkeepers. Like they don't want to
Right.
be on the receiving end of a worldie, and I don't really get that. Like, yeah, I know you want to make that incredible save, but it's more embarrassing if it goes your side.
Right.
And yeah, but these mistakes happen with a growing team, individual errors, and it's discipline as well that the manager also. This is a pretty incredible hit, but again, goalkeeper side, and yeah, I still think he should be responsible for that. Listen, man, this is Declan Rice who, bro? I'm
Throwing
joking. I'm
that
joking. That's
shade.
it's
Throwing
Declan
that
Rice in the
shade.
in the Champions League. That's different level. But Bruno hitting the shush as well. It's a bit of a statement. He's come out in the press talking about how he wanted to sell him and all that. I'm sure we'll get into it, but yeah, man, quality free kick. Goalkeeper
It's tough
side,
for
but it hits the
tough,
inside of the
tough.
post.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's unstoppable. Also, when he hit it, when we were setting up and he was taking it, I didn't think he was gonna make it. Just because I thought, he'll just sky it or just miss so hard. So that
Really?
he actually made it. I was like, let's
You
go.
you know what?
Let's
I genuinely thought he was gonna score it because I was like, it's so funny. Like it's like I was watching the game and I was like, doing other stuff and like he set up the free kick and I'm like, yo, he's gonna do one better than the last free kick. And I don't know why I had this weird feeling that it was gonna go in. I never really get that with free kicks, but for this one I did. Yeah. 2 minutes later, Cunha to Mbumo and Sesko. That's the big three. This is what we want to see on the pitch. Obviously Mbuma is going to AFCON, but I love this from Sesko. Pace, obviously doesn't get the ball in, and amazing when Cunha picks a corner. Honestly, this guy starts picking corners in the goal. The sky's the limit for him. Every game he seems to hit 3 shots straight at the keeper, the center of the goal. Obviously, bit of a mistake from the defender, but I love that, and Mbumo, Sesko, Cunha running, and I really like the fact that Ahmad was in the box too. And so good to see Sesko back. I think if we're gonna get anything from Villa, he's gonna be key. Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
honestly, I thought it was a bad pass from Sesko. I was like, oh, this is great. We're getting out, we're getting out, we're hitting the passes, we're quick on the counterattack. He gets the ball and then just does that little dive. The ball just dives into the feet of the defender. And I'm
That's
just
a
like,
hard ball on your left foot. I think the intention and like the quickness of thought is there. That's what I like from Sesko. I
right.
think that's on your left foot. Yeah.
It's like I like the intention, but it was just like, oh no, it's gonna die. Like, cause I thought he's gonna make a hard pass to Ahmad, hidden in mid stride, and then go towards the far corner.
Sesko, this
No, not
guy, like,
Sesko. He's gonna cross the ball to Ahmad, and Ahmad
oh
gets
right.
the ball mid stride and hit it into the far corner.
That's a Kevin De Bruyne pass, man. Like, I don't think many
I
players
know,
can. Yeah, because
I know,
you see, the Bournemouth player is level, so
right,
they're in a really good position.
right.
I just
But no.
like the quick turn of pace from Sesko. Ah, man, it's what we need from our like striker. Yeah,
So to your point about Cunha about picking his corners, right? There is a stat from last season that both um Brian and Cunha overdid their XG. Like they
yeah,
scored more goals than their XG. And it was like when I did for Brian for the past couple of weeks, I think he's in a little of a slump. I think he's trying too hard and trying to do a lot more with things
yeah.
that I felt like maybe that stat is true enough that, hey, we are not good enough for I'm not good enough, but like they overperform the XG and they were seeing it now that they're not scoring enough goals as they did last season. Because Cunha got about I think 10 or 15 goals last season.
Yeah. Okay, 15, I think, right?
Yeah, in total.
Yeah.
So but no, but I feel like, this is the new attack. This is good, the fluidity, and just having, more men in the box helps. And you can see hashtag free Kobe coming through at the top.
Yeah,
It's
man
like,
like
boy, you need
Kobe.
to get legs to keep up with that. You should be where number 5 is right now.
Uh, where did he start with? I can't remember where he started.
See, he's not running. He just
He's
came
running,
on.
man. He's running.
He's
He's
running, but
nah.
it's not fast enough, bro. You
That's
want to make you complain about being on this team and getting minutes. Hustle your ass off.
nah. I
Hustle.
think you're like what's the starting position? Like he's back here. He's trying to protect, man. He's like two here. I don't think you can blame Kobe too much on that. Like, you got
I'm
Ahmad in
blaming
acres
him.
of
I'm just saying,
space.
yeah. I'm
Yeah,
just
you're
saying,
you're
Kobe
thinking like, so
hustle.
if anything goes wrong here, he's in like that mid range. Yeah, I don't think Ben. See, when we scored the winner, I was like, I don't think we're gonna keep this. This is not good. This is Kobe just not understanding his role. He's gone in. He's taking a risk, and Bruno's kind of like, yo, come on. Um, and that player is there. And this is what I'm saying. When teams bypass our midfield, that
It's on.
space in front of our defense, that is the problem. Too many through balls being allowed to be played and for strikers to score. That is the biggest issue in our in the way we concede goals. Is this area that I've highlighted. It's just too easy, man. Like, you need to compress the space. Kobe shouldn't have been diving in. You're getting confused between being a 6 and being an 8. Both Bruno and Kobe. You need streamlined positions in every role in the system. And we don't have that just yet. But yeah, what are your thoughts?
Can you go back to the start of the clip of when Shaw throws it in and freeze it? Because it's like we have 3 in the back, right? So you have 1, 2, 3 in the back. And you have another 3 in the midfield. I'm counting Shaw coming into it. And then you have 2 at front. So essentially, and then when you count Bournemouth people, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's like 6 on 6, right? Everyone's there. But I feel like it's a bad pass from Shaw. Shaw should have done something better. Maybe not go long to Sesko because it is like, he's the tallest man on the pitch for our team, etc. I get that. But I think the better ball was to Cunha to protect it. And then, yes, when you go through the clip of Kobe getting sucked in, then Bruno's like raising his hands and then they're tracking back and not having the the legs to go track them down. I think like I can't say it's not the system, it's the players because if system was there, the system would have like somebody back there in the sixth spot, yeah, to prevent like to clog that space. So where number 19 is in between Delo and Haven, there would be like a true, 6 there that can clog that space. And that's the positioning that we need. And it just shows. And then after the ball's through, you know, Heaven and Martinez get sucked into the dead zone. Nobody's really doing anything, and then Martinez is a little bit too late to put an effective challenge. So I feel like all of this is just silly individual errors, and I don't know. Now looking at it, should Lament have come out for it?
No, no. I don't. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think.
At least,
I don't think. Yeah, yeah. Kobe. That's an individual error. Yeah, I get your argument for sure. Playing it. I think. Yeah,
see,
you're
Cecil.
not. You're not taught to play it inside. You're not taught. Yeah, that's like you're not really
Right,
in that area. You want it down the width or to someone to protect, to pass
closer.
back, and
Yeah,
you kick, you switch. Um,
right.
there's a multitude of things to do. And yeah, I think what they're trying to think of is this to Mbumo. That's
To flick
probably what they're
on. Yeah,
thinking. Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
I know to flick on,
and
but then it's
he
like,
tries to protect it, and yeah, then it's just a mess, right?
right,
But yeah, a defensive mind in six is gonna think, caution
right.
first. Yeah, I agree with that too.
And then one more point that if you play it out, and I'll tell you when to freeze it. So yeah, everyone's like, "Oh no, everything." Okay, see, freeze it here. So you see how Kobe just freezes up? It's like the same thing we've seen. We saw it in preseason. We saw it everything. Once he gets beat, he's not running his behind off to go get the ball. And that's what annoys me of like, if you want to play in the system and you want to play hustle, just go and get that ball from them or like go and make a chance. Don't line it up on your running and stuff. You're only been on the pitch for, uh, you came out on the 61st
ah,
minute.
I don't think
You've been on
either.
20.
Yeah, I don't think either Mainu or Bruno can do anything in the situation. You
I just feel
can't.
like they could at least, continue to run. They just held up.
The ball, so like in real speed, when the ball gets played like across, you're out of the game, right? They're out of the game like down here, right? And yeah, I mean, no one's like Kante, right? Like Kante, we're thinking about like a
That's what
freak.
we need.
Yes, but like that doesn't exist, you know. Like because Kante is so much more than just like his physical presence. It's his intelligence. It's where
Mhm.
his positioning. Um, it just it's like saying, oh, I want Messi in my team. They're very unique players, and like we gotta think about what we got. I know we keep talking about our midfield, and we want to keep bringing in and blaming Ineos and this and this and that, but it's just like we have what we have. We're in a decent position in the Prem. Like we need to do better with what we got. That's kind of where I'm at. It's kind of where I'm at right now. Is we have what we have. Okay, January is coming, but yeah, like that you need to adapt something in that midfield. If it's an extra body in there, then yeah,
So
do
you're
that.
saying Ruben should have changed the system and adapt to what we have.
I think because of AFCON, I think this is an opportunity to experiment with something else. You can play you can play the 3-4-3, right, and adapt it to a 4-3-3. It's not that drastic. I think Ahmad's ability to switch positions is pretty special. I just think we need an extra pair of legs in that midfield, and Kobe did some really good stuff in that game. Wait, did you want to go through the Kobe clips? There's like 20 clips.
That's fine.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it was basically. So thank you, Ali, for bringing up down those clips. As always, presented by Y Scout. Now we're gonna go share the stats, bringing it up this time around. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Cool. So basically, here again, the pr- oops, the match report brought to you by Y Scouts. What are the stats saying? So basically, here where we talked about, so the positioning of the map was like a 3, 2, and then 1, 4, if you want to say, in terms of how we were positioning and pretty much where the players were pretty much heated up. So this is good because we were on that little mini streak in a couple like last month before international break. Delo was introverting with Casemiro in the midfield. So it's good to see that back. We haven't seen this in a while. So it's good. That's why we kind of looked very decent. And it was kind of also going back and forth between the 4-4-2 press and, how we're taking the ball out. And then we can actually see, breaking news. He actually changes the position to a 4-2-3-1 from the 70th minute to the end. So to all the haters out there, Ruben out, whatever, you had Shaw, Martinez, Haven, and Delo as your back four with the Tony and Bruno double pivot. How did that work out for you? Let's be real. Let's be real. Let's talk. You guys wanted the formation? Here's the formation. How did we do? It's how many goals we scored. What is it? We scored one goal. No, we scored two goals and gave up one in this formation. So it still didn't bring the stability into the team. Like I'm saying.
Yeah. Zoom in. Yeah.
And then the shape, if I know you talked about the shape with Bournemouth about changing it, but they stayed in a 4-2-3-1 for most of the game. I think it's like when they were clogging the lanes for us, that's when they started to get success.
Yeah. I think like I also heard it on commentary, they were like adapting their shape, right? Yeah.
Right.
Because that's what I felt. I felt like, yeah,
So
the
then
lanes were, yeah.
there were two XG, should have been 3-2 essentially from the XG. And here's the crazy thing is like I like to focus on the pressing intensity because a lot of people focus on that for like why they want Areola to be our new coach if he were to ever to leave. But we took the game to him in terms of pressing. We've pressed more than they pressed us. And they are usually a pressing
Yeah.
team where they were
The
like
boys were locked in.
averaging less than 10. Right. They were locked in, and it just shows that we can press if we choose to, and this team can do it, right? And it's like everything you've seen, it's like, except for like the duel rate, you know, and long passes, it's like we dominated Bournemouth. There's no reason why we dropped 2 points against them. And it's like, again, if Ruben's system didn't work, and I think this is like a difference from last year versus this year. It's like look how many shots we're getting off and how many are still on target. I feel like this is a difference between what happened last year and when Ten Hag is like we weren't creating enough chances, we weren't doing a lot, and to have a successful system of creating these chances. We bring the horse to the water. We're bringing the horse to the water. Ruben's system is bringing the horse to the water, but is the horse drinking it? And it's up to the players. And I think the attacking, Brian had a lot of wasteful chances last night. Let's not be real. Let's be real. He got a wasteful chance. Ahmad, Bruno could have been better in some of the attacking sequences. Cunha could have been better in some of the attacking sequences and the shots off. So, it's not like it's one person. It's like make or break. It's spread around in terms of who, what, where, when. But it's like this team, the system, is working to get them to the opportunities, is them taking it and converting it. And that's the issue. I don't know. I seriously don't know what the solution could be other than just changing the mentality. It's like you have to be ruthless. You just have to pound on it. Don't play with your food. Just kill the game.
But it's like you gotta understand, like being ruthless is also an impact on like your legs, your mental state, how much you are confident as well. That's all things that a manager or a coach would install in you. Yes, like you should be responsible for that yourself, but this isn't like Barkley's era. Like these players are different, right? They need more. They probably want more, more love, more, hype. Like Bruno is,
So a couple more points with regards to here. It's like the attacking by flanks. We both getting cut up in the middle. I thought that was hilarious for both teams. Everyone's getting cut up in the middle, and that's why it was 4-4. Nothing real crazy here. If we want to compare stats with Casemiro and Kobe, Kobe's far superior to actions, passing, and the duels. Like, let's make it fair for what it is there. But, as we can see from the clips, like, he had a nice cameo in terms of the pressing, not pressing, but in terms of progressing, moving the ball, etc. But hey, It doesn't work when you don't have the legs to track back on, individual errors, etc. And then finally, last part will show. Yeah, it's pretty good. And I should have just bookmark the page. It's with regards to the passing app. So as you can see here, this was the clear defined shape confirming, three in the back, two in the mid. Again, everyone's saying, why is he playing alongside Casemiro? But he's not. He's always ahead of Casemiro and the one dictating it. And you can see the four at the top. So this is consistent to what we've seen with Ruben's system. This is what we've been seeing through match day play. Again, we have a style, we have a formation, fluidity, etc. It's just now what we're doing to go forward. And those were the stats presented by West. So, as we wrap up this episode, we talked a lot about, looking ahead at Villa at the start. Casemiro's now um, suspended for the match because of the yellow cards, as expected with all of his reckless tackling and need to tackle, actually, in the situation. That being said, is this Kobe Minu's breakout game? Is he going to hold his line in that 4-4-3 or 4-2-3, whatever Ruben decides now that we have a couple of nations on and, halal ball, all members halal ball, inshallah, or mashallah, brother, are all out. So thoughts.
Yeah, I think man, these next two games, it's gonna be an absolute monstrous midfield you're coming up against. I think two of the best midfields in the league in terms of intensity and aggression. I hope he doesn't. He looked a little sharper, when he played, when he was in an attacking position. Good close control, press resistant, progress the ball. You're just kind of relying on Bruno to be a six, and Mount is going to be so key in these next games. If we get anything, it's because Mount is going to have to play like some of his best games he's played, and he is going to have to show us some big star qualities. Right? These are this period when Mbumo's out. We need the goals replaced by you, and then Sesko can come in with a couple of goals. But Cunha needs to start, pulling his weight. Yeah, I think if Kobe performs well in these next couple of games, that is a lovely problem to have, because these midfielders that you're up against, Tielemans, Onana, Rogers, then you got Newcastle with Tonali, Guimaraes, Joelinton. Like, these are some of the best midfielders in the league.
And then Wolves got back Yao Gomez because Yao
Oh yeah,
Gomez was suspended against our game, and then that's when we cut up their midfield. But then now he's back, and he really gave it to Arsenal. So
yeah, they played well. It's quite funny, isn't it? Because they sat in like such a low block against Arsenal. And against us, they weren't really doing that. It's the complete opposite. And like that's the like, we can play teams like Bournemouth. Like, if you're gonna play out and you're not gonna just sit in a low block, we minimum draw and we're trying to get a win. If you sit in a low block and hit us on the counter, it's problems for us. And that's why I think Kobe's better against a low block. If it's basketball, football, I don't think that's his skill set. Don't think about all his late winners. It's against a low block, right?
right.
So
He was also in that, but he was also in the advanced position. He was like in the 10 or like an advanced 8.
That's what you do against a low block.
And taking the
you're allowed to go more forward. Sorry.
Right. No, you're allowed to go forward and take it into the tight spaces. That's why his winner against Wolves is like tight on the space, turn the corner and just hit it to the far,
Same against Lyon.
Right.
Against Liverpool it was a bit different, but but then to be fair, against City that was a counter attack, and that was beautiful. Yeah, but yeah, I think he's got everything in front of him. Just his brother's doing a couple of. I don't like what his brother's doing. It's funny. Don't get me wrong. It's funny. I saw a London streetwear brand drop the tee. Like, they're literally dropping it, and the owner is a Chelsea fan. Like, his brother is he's like a model, he's like a reality whatever guy. Like, he wants the attention. I don't like that from him. It's funny though. I'll be real. It's funny, but it's like, Kobe, you need to show us. And there was a couple of clips. There was good and bad in that game, but like, some of the good things he does, It's beautiful to watch.
He needs
He
to
seems
do it. And
sharper.
also, he seems sharper. And I feel like, we need to get these clowns, the family in order of like, you're not doing any good to him and his cause. But I think the other person I think I want to see is free my boy Patrick. Patrick's been doing a lot of these cameo coming
Dallow's
off
been
the benches.
playing
Because
well.
Dallo should go into the right,
Right.
unless you're going to tell me that Martinez is going to play full time now, or like 60, 75 minutes, and then you have Luke Shaw as left back or as left wing back. So
Did you want to get into your beef with Martinez this episode, or you want to do it for next?
maybe we can wait till next episode. But basically,
Okay.
yeah, we can wait till next episode. Let's see what happens with that. Let me give him some slack with regards to
He
he
just
just
came
came back
back.
from injury.
I don't know what it is. I'm kind of like intrigued. We can tease it.
Basically, it's like he's injury prone, and is he really good defender without? Since Raphael has left, I feel like with his injuries, it's
Let's
been
see.
like
Let's see, man.
downhill.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. If we were a competent club, this would be like his last season. Let's see.
Oh.
But let's be fair. He's pretty good with the ball over the top. And that's what we need,
Just give
especially
him some
against low
time, man. Give
blocks
him some
and stuff.
time.
Yeah. But anyways, this is the episode for the football bloody hell Bournemouth match. Again, if you like the content, give us a like, drop us a comment. Don't forget hit subscribe. We try to do this. So next game is Villa Sunday. We will have a review for that. So hopefully, United can win. Just remember the positives also. We haven't lost in 10 games, or one loss
Oh
in 10
my
games.
god. Stop with that, bro.
We're still
I'm
getting,
telling
we're
you,
still getting,
I'd rather lose some games and pick up some wins, man. I don't care. It's all about points.
and one is better than 0.
Yes, but 3 is better than 2.
That is also true.
Quick
This is like,
maths.
okay, Big Shaq. Just because you're back in the UK doesn't mean you could be like 2 plus 2 is 1 minus 3. Quick maths. Yes. Okay, Big Shaq. Go have some chicken nandos and enjoy. Anyways, hey, if you enjoy, everyone, we will catch you on the flip side. Talk to you guys later. Peace.
Dude, an hour and 25.